Yeah.
Doug, I think you're. Doug, I
Yeah,
think
no,
you're
no,
muted.
I am muted. I was talking to Ron. Yeah.
I said it first. I said it first, so I get credit for it.
Sorry.
I thought I was like, my sound's not working.
I think it's this laptop, Ron. Oh, sorry, I'm not muted.
Just
Must
remember,
be
Doug,
glasses.
even though you're muted on Zoom, they hear you on channel 77.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure everyone's in here. I see Dean, I see John, I see Councilwoman Rice. Okay, it looks like we all got here safely. I'm starting the recording in Zoom. The live stream is happening on YouTube and Facebook. Internal recording. Public access is also running. We are live. Mayor, whenever ready, you may call the meeting to order. You're mute. You're muted, Mayor.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Rami Rice.
Present.
Councilman Began.
Here.
Councilwoman Organ.
Here.
Councilman Kaplan.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Katz. You're muted. Sorry, sir.
Ellie, you're muted.
Here, and I got my camera working.
Thank heavens. Mayor Dunleavy.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by resolution number 226-2020, sending a copy to the newspapers officially designated for 2021 by way of resolution number 111-2020, filing a copy in the township clerk's office and posting it on the municipal building bulletin board, and the mayor hereby directs that this statement be included in the minutes.
Thank you. All right, tonight's announcements. Tonight we have with us Dean Kazincia, Township Manager, Doug Roussillon, Township Clerk, Clarence Barnes is back at the mothership, Building Maintenance Worker, Ron Goodman, our volunteer cablecaster extraordinaire, and John Shadanian from the law firm of McCusker and Selmy, Rosen, and Carvelli. The next televised council meeting will take place on Tuesday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. Please be reminded that attendance at the municipal building is still by appointment only until further notice. Take note that the municipal buildings, with the exception of police and fire, will be closed on Friday the 12th and Monday the 15th in observance of Lincoln's birthday and President's Day. And a big congratulations to the Teaneck High School flag twirlers and drumline for representing the state of New Jersey in the inaugural parade across America. The purpose of this virtual parade, which was on January 20th, is to lift up the heroes across the country that are putting their lives on the line to keep us safe and take care of our children and keep our country moving. The parade also paid tribute to Americans of all walks of life by integrating their diverse talents into a pageantry of one of our great traditions. So congratulations to the Teaneck High School flag twirlers and drumline for a job well done in representing our town well. And right now, I'm sad to say, I'm going to be asking for a moment of silence in remembrance of Miss Gwendolyn Acree, a dedicated, longstanding community member who just recently passed away. Thank you. The council met in closed session to discuss the following: contract negotiations, personnel, legal issues and or opinions on any item on the open session agenda, litigation updates, and Oprah. Okay. Now we have presentations and a certificate of recognition. Doug, do you have that?
Yes, I believe Deputy Mayor Katz wanted to say a couple words about our friend who is receiving this.
Very good. Deputy Mayor Katz?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A few years ago, we started the senior shoveling program. Originally, the idea was to try to marry people that wanted to help seniors with the amount of seniors that needed shoveling. Instantly, it was a huge hit to the seniors. We got, I think the number got 50 to 70 signups of seniors that needed help. We received, I think, 4 or 5 volunteers. Well, after snowstorm number 1, we were down to a half of a volunteer. William Broughton then reached out to the forum and worked out some type of arrangement, which they've been doing for years, helping, with different functions with providing some of the students throughout the community, whether it's snow shoveling, whether it's tutoring or other functions that the forum provides the kids for, in addition to all the other great work that the forum does. I was reminded of the responsiveness of Yvonne when this weekend or last week on a Sunday, I was getting emails from seniors, and she was just one after the other responding, giving her personal cell phone, trying to help these seniors that were stuck in their house. So I found it appropriate and fitting at this time, especially since we've got a couple more storms coming up next week and this week, to really take a minute, thank, and for all her work that she does, but specifically I wanted to recognize on behalf of the council for her exceptional work with the senior snow shoveling program. We can't tell you, listen, we see how fragile the community is or how challenged they are when it comes to technology and signing up for vaccines. Imagine trying to pick up a shovel and get rid of 14 inches of snow, or creating a safe passageway in and out of your house. And some of these seniors rely on it, not for them to leave, but for them to actually get food delivered to their house or other essential medications, etc. So I just wanted to say, Yvonne, thank you so much for your spectacular work. Thank you very much for being so responsive to the community. And thank you for really taking this senior shoveling program and making it into the success that it is.
Any comments from anyone?
Thank you, Ms. Witter. I'll be mailing out this certificate for you tomorrow morning.
Councilmember Rice? Did you
Yeah, I
have-
just wanted to add to Ellie's comments because I too reached out to Ms. Witter, and as Ellie mentioned, it was over the weekend, so clearly it's on her days off, and the dedication of making sure that information makes the connection between our seniors and our students, and our seniors and our students as well, who are great, who are committed to helping our seniors. So it shows their dedication to their community, in addition to Yvonne's great organization of making the connection and doing a great service to the community. So thank you, Yvonne, not only on the snow shoveling, but for so many other opportunities, volunteer opportunities, internships, and just community service. The Teaneck High School has had a long-standing tradition of 60 hours of community service, which is not met by many other schools, and it connects our students in such a gracious way to our community. So thank you, Yvonne, so much for all you do.
Councilmember Pagan?
Yeah, Yvonne also does a lot of work at the county homeless shelter, and I just wanted to thank her for that. She's an incredible human being, and she helps so many people.
Councilmember Pagan, you froze. So I'm going to take latitude here and say, when Deputy Mayor Katz came to me with this and discussed it with me, I thought a little bit about it, and I think what we also need to do is, you'll hear about us having met with the Board of Education leadership in a few minutes. I think this is something that we can beef up and work on together between the Board of Ed and the council and the township, so that this service is there for our seniors and for people who really need help in getting out and getting out of their houses during storms. So I think this is a great thing that we did. And Yvonne, thank you for everything that you've done for this town. You've helped a lot of people, and you've helped a lot of kids help a lot of people. Okay. Work session items, miscellaneous. I don't have anything. Old business? No. New business? No. Okay. Communications, I have a number of communications. Does anybody have any communications before I get into mine? No? Okay. First up, I want people to know that Dean in his manager's report will be talking about Rhoda and the vaccine distribution activity there. We've been talking constantly. Dean and I met with the Black Lives Matter mural committee, and I think we had a very good open discussion. I'm very clear as to what their wants are. So now, as I mentioned previously, I'm going to go back to our council, and I'm going to discuss this with the council members to see where they stand based on what the proposal was from the Black Lives Matter mural group. And I feel comfortable that we're going to get to a conclusion that works best for this town. I was very happy with the discussion. I think Dean was as well, and so I'm looking forward to it. We set up a date, I think, in about 2.5 weeks to meet again to discuss my discussions with council and where we're going to head with this. So things are moving forward with regards to the Black Lives Matter mural. We did our panel for our Black community on the vaccine. It was well received. Councilmember Rice and I were on it and had a great panel of physicians and researchers. And it was so well received that the state of New Jersey cited it as a very good example of what a municipality can do. And they shared it with all the municipalities in the state as something that they should be thinking about doing in order to get vaccines available to our minority communities. And we'll be talking in a few minutes about another panel discussion we're going to do. We're moving also forward on our lectures on racism. We've set dates of March 10th and March 24th, I believe. We've identified a number of groups to speak with the faculty prior to it. We're going to be meeting with the faculty again in 2 weeks, Javon and I, and we'll start to set up put some marketing together to start to tell the people in the community what we're doing and what the offering is going to be all about. I'm kind of excited about this. One of the presentations will be a workshop. And I think it's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. 4, 5. I have made outreach to Congressman Gottheimer personally, also to Congressman Pasquarello. I've had calls with the governor's office. I've had calls with Senator Booker and Senator Menendez's office, all designed to basically tell everybody, look, we have a system in place to do vaccine, but we need the darn vaccine. And we also need additional funds to carry out what we're being asked to do at the municipal level. I'm hopeful that with the package that they're looking at right now in Congress, that there is going to be monies there. As of yesterday, when I spoke with Congressman Gottheimer, he felt that there were going to be monies available for municipalities in that package. And certainly we're going to try to avail ourselves of it if that's the case. But we've been trying every which way make sure that we try to support the efforts of our township manager and our staff and the staff at Holy Name for doing just a magnificent job. And I think that's all I have. Okay. Committee reports for council liaisons.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead, Mark, and then Deputy Mayor Katz.
Sure. This Thursday night, tomorrow night, we have, actually, I'll start with Thursday. Thursday night, we have a planning board meeting, a very exciting kickoff to our area in need of redevelopment, American Legion Drive. That'll be on the agenda for the planning board to review. Pending their review, it will be sent back to the council for our March meeting, I believe in March, I forget the exact date of March, I do apologize. That, of course, will be the redevelopment of the Stop and Shop property in the municipal lots. A lot of comments online, so just keep it simple. Stop and Shop will, as of now, of course, be remaining. We're not losing a supermarket. I just wanted to make that clear ahead of the meeting. So that is the status of that meeting. Tomorrow night, I have a Cedar Lane management meeting. Well, that'll be discussed as well. And coming up, we have an historical preservation meeting in which we'll be discussing some new markers in throughout town to mark our historical sites. Thank you.
Great. Any other reports, Deputy Mayor Katz, and then Javon?
Thank you. First of all, I do want to just put a little side note on the we're not losing Stop the supermarket. That's true that right now they are under a lease, but I don't think, based on what I've heard and based on the way the supermarket industry is going, that it's a guarantee. So I think that is one of the impetuses that Deputy Mayor Schwartz is really driving to make sure that Teaneck does not lose a supermarket. So that's very important.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I didn't want anyone to think, oh, they don't need it. No, this is needed in order to be, be proactive. But I do want to mention that the zoning subcommittee, it's really a full-time gig now. We've met a few times. Main topic is Holy Name Hospital and working with the neighbors and working with the hospital to try to find a plan that's good for everybody, the community especially as a whole. That is still a fluid situation, but the meetings continue. AUCC as well. We're meeting with them to try to bring resolution from what we as a community, as the township can accept, and that's also continues to go. And then Deputy Mayor, did we miss any of the other new projects or anything else that we were discussing in the last? Oh no, we did. We had the presentation.
Rain.
Avenue and Rain, right? So Rain, they came in with a preliminary presentation of not the Rain itself, but we call that as the whole entire building, including the empty parking lot. And they proposed a very nice plan. The plan would require some parking rentals on the township's side, and that's something that our attorney is looking to see how we can implement that portion of that presentation. Did I miss anything else?
Yes, we had a class trip today, a field trip today. The sub-zoning committee went on a field trip.
Yes. We had a very nice sub-zoning field trip today with myself, Councilman Bagan, Deputy Mayor Schwartz, Tom, our deputy manager, Dean, our manager, Lewis, our assistant to the manager, Dan Melfi, our zoning officer, community development officer. And we got to look at two very nice finished products. The Old World of Wings, which is now Avalon, which is 100% rented. Just a couple of comments that were made during the time that people were going for the proposal, so that we can address their concerns about that it's going to fill up with students and it wasn't going to It's going to hurt the township as far as the amount of students that go to the Board of Ed. It ends up that they have less than 25 students, and I didn't ask them what schools they went to, and it's 100% rented. There was another comment about traffic being backing up all the way to Route 4 during the hearing, and there is zero traffic. There is not even a steady flow of vehicles. And I don't know what, and they're giving us $1.5 million in taxes when they used to only give us 200,000 as the Butterfly Museum. And then we went to the one on Newbridge, which I don't remember the name of the place. It's not as big, and it's not as developed as far as in the cycle of leasing, but they're completed now. I think they're gonna get their CO, or Deputy Mayor, did they get their CO? Almost.
Yeah, they have their TCO is pending a state report, so they're completely finished. It's River Commons, and so they're just waiting on a state report to be
But
actually have the piece of paper.
Also a really nice addition to that property. To remember it, it was a lawnmower shop, some equipment all over the place, three semi-dilapidated houses, one of them with some alleged illegal activity going on in there, and it enhanced the area. And we're looking forward to both of them being really successful.
Councilmember Rice, did you have?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First is the Advisory Board on Community Relations. We had a meeting yesterday. Topics were discussed were homelessness. Thank you, Dean, for attending that meeting last night. He shared some statistics and information about their concerns regarding homelessness. There was a conversation about diversity and inclusion. And in terms of the group is very interested in participating in the lecture series and looking forward to being able to kind of pick up where we leave off in terms of furthering conversations, and then I already have some plans for the spring. There was also conversation about the 2020 Maddie Feldman Award. Of course, due to COVID, we didn't actually get to have our usual coffee and cake and award ceremony. So we were trying to figure out how we could provide a hybrid ceremony where the 2020 recipients as well as the 2021 recipients would be acknowledged and be able to receive awards. Additionally, the Hackensack River Greenway, they met, actually attempted to meet on the 25th, but we had some technical difficulties with Zoom, but we did email back and forth some updates. The rain barrel was still a question on the agenda. They're very pleased to Indian Pond, all the progress that's being done there, Dean, to report out. And there was an additional question about Brett Park, the battlefield. I know that there was a request for a grant application. I don't know if that was pursued, but they were just concerned about what was the status on Brett Park. They also did ask about a DPW update. And third, Youth Advisory Board. Their next meeting is scheduled on February 17th. Actually, Doug participated in their last meeting, so some of that information is actually on our agenda. There's also on their their next meeting is on the 17th of February, and they're going to be discussing dream catchers, how they can connect our students with businesses in the community, mentorship opportunities to expose our students to various business interests. And then there was discussion about replicating the Kazum and Township knowledge, the one that Keith tried to hoggle the answers to, but they were discussing how they could replicate that in some sort of electronic, visual, virtual way with our Youth Advisory Board. Cahoots, yep. So that concludes my reports.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, I just failed to mention, oh, I'm sorry, Keith, go ahead.
I don't have a report, but I did want to just piggyback off something that Deputy Mayor Katz mentioned for the number of students at Avalon, because a lot of times, we say things way back when and people forget it. The Board of Ed came out with an independent assessment where they came up with the number of students that they predicted would be in a building of this size, and it was for 121 units of one bedrooms bedrooms, they predicted 7 students. For 82 two-bedroom, they predicted 23. For 25 two-bedroom affordable, they predicted 16. And for 23-bedroom affordable, 3-bedroom regular, they predicted 17 for a total of 63 students. So that was the prediction. If there's 25, it's, sometimes worth remembering how we do after we make these predictions.
All right, I was remiss in mentioning the meeting that the deputy mayors and I had with the new leadership of the Board of Education. We had a very, very good Zoom call. We discussed a number of issues of common interest and things that we could do together. I believe they're going to reformulate their subcommittee to meet with our subcommittee that we had formed a while ago and start the work of trying to find as many things as possible that we can do together for the betterment of the town and the kids of Teaneck. So more to come on that, but I think the three of us were very, very pleased with the tone and the openness of the meeting, and we're looking forward to working with them. Okay, council listed items. Number 1, supporting federal funding for investment in bridges and other critical transportation infrastructure. Council Member Pagan.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution encourages our federal government to invest more dollars into repairing our aging bridges and our aging infrastructure. The president is currently working with Congress on transportation legislation, and now is the time for local and state governments to express how important this type of investment is to our communities. So I wanted to see if my colleagues on council were willing to join me in sending this resolution to our state and federal representative. What do you guys think? Can we send this?
Comments?
I like it.
Do I have any no's?
Absolutely. And I saw that the League of Municipalities was promoting it as well.
All right, so I think looks like everybody is a yes. So Mike, I think get together with Dean or whatever and go ahead.
With Doug, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Councilman Began, I apologize to interrupt. Are you saying, because the resolution, I believe, is the language is included in the agenda packet, correct?
Yes.
I apologize. That's right. You're right.
So I'm trying to walk this into our consent agenda this evening.
That would be
Motion to add to consent agenda.
Second.
Second,
Thank you, everybody.
favor?
Aye.
Okay.
This is going to be added to the consent agenda. Everybody take note as resolution number 43-21. And that will be included in the roll when we do the consent agenda. And then we will send that out as you requested, Councilman Began.
Okay,
Thank you.
Great.
everybody.
thank you. Thank you, Mike. Leadership Teaneck.
Yes,
Councilmember Rice.
yes, as I mentioned, the Youth Advisory Board in our meeting where Doug was present, the youth really expressed a real interest in gaining more information about civics, about our leadership. And the conversation about Leadership Teaneck came up because I know that Councilman Katz, we had discussed, it was actually Kaplan, some time ago, we had discussed the potential of reintroducing a youth leadership. So I just wanted to bring it back up just to see and just to mention that the youth were very interested and see if we could revitalize that interest or where we would be in that youth leadership Teaneck opportunity.
Is this, Javon, just so I'm sure, Doug, is this what we were discussing today in terms of setting up a?
This, no, Mayor, this is a separate program. This is something that I believe was in Teaneck for a long time.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah,
yes, I
before
remember.
I
that.
came around, it sounded like an awesome program,
Gotcha.
but, and I believe that there is a lot of support to bring it back. It's just been difficult in our offices, the manager's office, the clerk's office, trying to revitalize that program, because I remember Manager Kaczynski, he was talking about it at the end of 2019. And as you can imagine, our to-do list at the beginning of 2020 got slightly amended. But I am aware that that there's still a lot of support. Like Mr. Harley and Mr. Lewis were saying, I think Mr. Harley might have been on Leadership Teaneck when he was back in high school, he was saying.
Okay, so in terms of the mechanics, do we need a little subcommittee? Keith obviously is interested in this, and Councilmember Rice, you're interested in this.
I was requesting if, I was emailing back and forth with the councilwoman. I was going to say maybe if we can track down who was the leadership prior, no pun intended. I mean, who was in charge of leadership TNEC before it kind of fizzled out. If anyone is aware of who that
Jackie
is.
Cates.
Who?
Jackie Cates.
Jackie Cates. Okay, good. Then if council permits, I'll put in a word to her and start that conversation.
All right, so do that and then get back to us on what you find and where we're gonna go. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This is a great program. I remember this program. Okay, number 3, increase snow tickets from $100 to $200, Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, as I requested last year or 2 years ago, I do apologize, mine. And it was compromised. I'm looking to increase our ticketing. I believe the first time was $100. I'd like to increase it to $200. Frankly speaking, the amount of cars throughout town are, I mean, it's incredible. It's just that it's not equitable between the streets that have cars all around, and you go one block north or south, and you've got no cars. And it's some people either must feel that it's just not worth the headache. So with that, I'm looking for nodding heads to go from $100 to $200 for the first ticket.
Mr. Mayor,
Deputy Mayor Katz. And
I
then Councilman Kaplan.
I absolutely disagree with Deputy Mayor Schwartz about raising. I think that is very onerous on the residents. Now, I want to start by saying that I fully support this ordinance. I myself have had a personal experience where I was driving an ambulance and I got to a point going up the street where there was 2 cars and they were so close that I could not get through. So I hit the brakes, and as a result, the ambulance started sliding backwards towards the medic truck that was behind me, and I had a patient in the back. So I fully understand how important it is, not just for emergency service vehicles, but to also clear the streets. But I think that in this case situation, that 100 to 200 is to change it for the people that are making mistakes. You know, and I think that a lot of it has to do with making mistakes. I think the fact that we have to do more education, even though this has been on the books for 28 years, additional enforcement, because $100 is still a pinch. I think to bring it to 200 is really like hurting the backs of our residents if they do get hit, because the courts are not flexible at all. So it is a $200 hit, which means that you have to also pay that money and give up your day of work to go to our courts or go to our Zoom courts. You know, people do mistakes, and it will tax our courts, which will cost us even more money because people are going to, at $100, people say, okay, maybe I'll fight it, maybe I won't fight it. At 200 and 300 and the other numbers that I've heard, I think it becomes a little, you know, astronomical. And you know, I also find it to be a little like strange that our DWI first offense tickets are between $250 to $500. So like, you know, if you park on the snow or you get DWI, you're getting hit for like the same amount of money. You know, I once went to a marriage lecture. It was a community lecture, but you know, I can always use marriage advice. And you know, they said, you don't get upset at your spouse. It's not a personal slight if they, you know, leave the cap on the toothpaste open or the toilet seat up, no matter how many times you discuss it. You know, it's not a question of being disrespectful. People make mistakes. And I think $100 slap is a real strong slap. I don't think it's going to change people making mistakes if you give them a $200 slap. I think what it does is it's just going to hurt our residents in several ways that is not what our intention is. So I absolutely disagree with the 100 to 200. I'd like to keep it at the 100 or maybe slight cost of increase to 110, and that's what I say.
So 2 comments. First of all, I wasn't sure if we're gonna.
Whoa, wait.
Sorry.
I already recognized Councilmember Kaplan. Then you can go, Deputy Mayor. Go ahead.
So I understand the impetus that there are cars on the road, something must be done, and this is something. And there will, you know, never in our country be a lack of responsive representatives that want to jack up the rates. But what I think is that after talking with a lot of people, no matter how much we try to get the word out, they don't know until that first ticket hits them in the mailbox or wherever it is. And the second time, they don't have the car on the road. Of course somebody else will, and the cycle's going to continue. But we can't fix everything by ratcheting up the amounts. And I mean, look, it happens, the other way with criminal. They ratchet up the amount of time to the point of death penalty, and it just doesn't have its deterrent effect. So I am fine looking at how many recidivists we have. If we are giving out, the same people multiple times, then yeah, maybe the amount is too low. But bring me some data and show me that these people are leaving their cars out more than once, and you'll win me over. But I am not just because people leave their cars out going to be in favor of an increase here.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
So I'm not sure if my takeaway from this is Deputy Mayor Guston's speech from Deputy Mayor Katz's speech is my takeaway I should drive an ambulance in the next storm, or I should sit there and do research papers for Councilman Kaplan. I don't care. I just want the cars off the road. So if it's not going to be $200, can I get some out of the hands for $150?
Can I just ask a question?
Karen, go ahead.
Everyone else is. Why not?
For John, actually, legally, is there a way for us to make it $100 first offense and then increase it thereafter?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can change the violation schedule to whatever we want it to be. This is a municipal ordinance.
So what we found, or what I found speaking to people during these storms, is neighbors are angry at neighbors, and they're saying over and over again, they just don't care. They leave their car in the street.
Right.
And most of the people that we heard from, they really felt like their neighbors were being unneighborly, and it's not okay. You're messing up your entire block when you do that. So, I agree if it's a first offense, all right, $100. But if you're doing it more than once, then the amount should go up. I am for a fee schedule that increases.
I believe it actually does. already.
Hold on. Councilmember Rice, I think you feel your
Yeah,
hand.
I just wanted to know, did we share the number of tickets that were issued these past storms? Because I think that also adds relevance.
Sure.
Do you
Yeah, I can
have-
comment on that. The first big storm, we had 400. The latest storm, I believe it was close to 100.
Okay,
And-
because
and Dean, would you know if there are recidivists? Would you-
I believe there's something in the ordinance that addresses that. I'm going to check it right now.
Yeah, I have it. I just pulled it up. I apologize, Mr. Manager, but I was just pulling it up right now because someone had said that and I thought it was there. The first offense is a fine not exceeding 100. Second offense is a fine not exceeding 200, but not less than 100. And a third or subsequent offense is a fine not exceeding 300, but not less than 100. So that gives the judge discretion to ramp it up.
Are we doing that though?
Again, one of the problems is with parking violations, it does not go on your abstract. So it's something that the person would either have to admit in court that this is their second or third, or we get that information from the court administrator by, I guess, querying the municipal court system.
Are we able to keep that record in-house? I mean, we're mailing these tickets. I mean,
Yes.
we have a name on who we're mailing them to. Can we just keep a list of everyone we've mailed one to? And if they're already on the list, jack up the rate?
I mean, I can ask to see if there's a way to do that. I just don't want to create a lot more work going into this, but let me check with the court administrator and see if there's a quick way to come up with some sort of mechanism that we can identify second and third offenders.
So go ahead.
And Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to point out also, we get lots of complaints about the plowing, and of course, the plowing is hindered by the cars. So hopefully people can see the correlation and understand why this is not just a kind of gotcha, but it is creating a burden for the rest of the residents when it's not done properly.
That's really the sole reason for doing this in the first place, to get them off the road. Wow. Did you want to say something? No? Go ahead.
So I appreciate everyone's comments. Can I settle on $125 for the first offense?
All right, so we have a motion to increase the first offense that's in the current ordinance to $125. Do I hear a second?
I'll second, but can I comment? If we're already changing the ordinance, it's not to exceed, can we just go with 125, 200, 300?
That'd be
No,
great.
And not leave the wiggle room in there?
I'll change my motion to that effect.
Well, wait a minute, I'm a little confused. If it's already in there, why, it wouldn't come out, right, John?
It's,
Is
it
it
says,
already?
right
it's
now
already
it
in
says
there,
not
right?
to exceed 200, but not less than 100. Let's just
Right.
go 125, 200, 300.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, okay. All right, then I'll call that an amendment.
Wait, one,
Go ahead, hold on.
no,
So
what I
what's
mean-
on the floor, hold on, what's on the floor is 125, was it 200 or 250 or 300? 200 and 300? 200 and 300. That's what's on the floor, and to take out the other wording of up to, I think that's what you said, right? Okay, so that's what's on the floor. Just got. Council, Deputy Mayor Katz?
Can we also see if, and there's, I guess, more to the manager, if we can deputize additional parking enforcement officers, either maybe the auxiliaries, et cetera, because I think that's also one of the issues is that, you know, as Councilman Kaplan mentioned, like they get their ticket there, for the most part, we think that that's their notice, but a lot of people are not getting tickets. You know, Deputy Mayor Schwartz has videos of more than 100 cars parked on the streets in the last storms, because he gets a lot of complaints about the snow because people know that that's one of his issues. And that's a problem because we're not doing a good enough job enforcing, and it's not anyone's fault, but, you know, man-woman power. But education and enforcement, I think, are something that we have to consistently do.
I mean, I can check to see if the auxiliaries will have enforcement power for writing township ordinance complaints. I don't know this. I have to check with Ron. I'm sure he's listening on the status of the auxiliary program if they're writing. But again, as the police officers patrol during the storm, again, they're taking the license plates down, calling them into dispatch, and an e-ticket is
Yeah, but
issued.
who's writing that ticket? Meaning, is someone actually signing that ticket?
Yes, the police officer, that he's not writing it and putting it on a car that day. You know, it's being issued via e-ticket through the mail.
All summonses have to have an officer behind them.
Yes.
Right, but that's my question. Are we relying on one officer to administratively issue all these tickets? Because you said,
Whoever's working, parking enforcement, could be traffic that's working, the traffic division, the officer assigned to that particular post or sector of town. So there are.
that part I understand. The one who sees the infraction, I understand.
Yes, calls it in, calls the license plate in, and again, he's the one or she's the one that issues that e-ticket.
So the
Are-
one,
Are we using ALPRs for this, Dean, or
No.
can we?
I'll check. Yeah, I can check. Not every car has it. I believe there's just a couple cars that do have that, but I'll check.
All right, so the motion before you is to amend the ordinance so that it would read 150, 200, 300, and eliminate the words up to.
150. I thought it was 125.
125.
125.
125, I'm sorry.
Try. Thank you. I appreciate the try.
Okay.
Holy cow, you guys are collaborating.
Hey, I started my discussion with Mark at 300, so.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, so it's 125, 200, and 300, and eliminate the words up to. Any
I make a
further-
motion to amend that motion on the motion to 110, 3 and 2, and all the other clauses stay.
There's a move to amend to 110. Do I have a second? Dies for lack of a second.
Why not just leave it at 100 and jack up the second and third? I'll make a
second that
motion.
one.
I'll make a motion to leave it at 100 and jack up the second and third.
To
Okay.
But I
225.
think that the point is, as Dean mentioned, it could be a logistical nightmare to manage that. So is that really
Also,
gonna
yeah,
be?
sorry.
Well, it's
No, no,
not-
also, in Councilman Rice is right. Now we're just gonna start doing more and more paperwork. Now at $300, you're gonna go to the judge, you're gonna plead, and the judge is gonna feel bad. You know, oh, I was sleeping, I took, medicine the other night. For $125, either you'll pay it or you'll stay off the street.
Respectfully, Deputy Mayor Schwartz, the point of the sword of Damocles is not that it falls, it's that it hangs. We tell them that, there's a $200 and $300 fee for the next ticket, and that's what does the trick. The $100 gets them to listen, the $200 and the $300 get them to not violate this again.
I hear
If you raise the second and third correctly, you don't have a logistical nightmare because it really reduces the recidivism.
Okay.
All right.
So that's 125. We'll probably do the same thing.
All right.
Right.
You're
I have a motion. I don't know if there's a second to leave it
There's
at
a
100
second.
and jack up the two others.
There's a second.
Well, what you can also do is ask the maker of the motion to withdraw if he doesn't think he has the votes.
Oh, I think I got the votes. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be picking you guys up for my tour. This is Deputy Mayor Mark Schwartz. Hello, Tina. No,
All
whatever.
right, the motion is for 125, 200, 300.
No, there's a motion and a second to amend. The motion to
To
amend
amend
takes
to 100.
precedence.
Okay. We have a motion.
Councilman Kaplan, just for clarification, your second is 100, 225, and 325?
Sure.
Guys, what is it? You want 125? You want 100?
My motion is to keep it at 100, 200, and 300.
Okay.
Well, you're making a motion to keep it, Councilman?
Keep the first one at 100 and to raise the second and third to 200 and 300.
With no wiggle room.
But
Floors.
that's the thing.
Oh,
Isn't
right now it's 200 and 300?
Isn't it
Up
200,
to you.
300?
No,
No,
it's
not,
not- it's
not
up
more
to.
than, not less than. We can get rid of that.
Right.
Okay. So what? You want to move to amend by substitution to say 100, 200, 300, and eliminate the words up to.
Yes.
And then after fourth offense, according to Deputy Mayor Schwartz, he wants jail.
Do I
Or
have a
at least,
second?
or at least
Do I have-
tow.
Do I have a second to move by substitution?
I have a second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion before you? You know what you're voting on?
Yeah, I just want to, one quick discussion. Councilmember Rice mentioned about towing. I think it's okay to tow after anytime during that phase.
We can't get the vehicles out there to tow. The tow truck
Yeah,
drivers are not.
that's-
There's a
problem.
problem with damage to vehicles. People don't want to come out to tow.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, there's a lot of bad conditions. Getting towing is hard.
Okay. So the motion before you is,
That's just a
What-
big sword. I'm just saying, Mark. I mean, Keith, if you could get that sword out there with the threat of towing, that
Yeah,
sword of
they
Damocles.
won't come out because they don't want the liability.
But
Mark
but
will
it-
come to it.
whether or not it's done, it does not mean it can't be done. I mean, it's not a question of whether.
If it's an emergency, the police will direct the towing company to come out. So we always reserve that right. They'll come out if it's an emergency, but if it's just a car parked on the street that's snow covered and it's not truly impeding traffic, they're not going to come out.
Okay. The motion before you is 100, 200, 300, and eliminate the words up to. Are you ready for the vote? All those in favor?
All right.
So
Call the roll call.
Call it.
Councilwoman Rami Rice,
Yes.
I should do that.
Councilman Began,
Yes.
Councilwoman Organ,
Yes, anything to make this stop.
I agree.
Councilman Kaplan,
Yes, from the parliamentarian.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes, because it already passed.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Absolutely.
So something was adopted. I'm just gonna need to go back to the recording and figure it out exactly.
Yeah, let the record show we're doing a lot more weights at the gym tomorrow.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Doug, call me tomorrow. I think I got it down.
All right, next, vaccine education program for Latino community. Councilmember Pagan, why don't you take that and tell us what's going on with that?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. We will be having a Latino COVID-19 education webinar on Zoom on Sunday, February 28th at 4 p.m. We've invited a number of doctors and a couple of leaders in the healthcare industry to participate, but we are still waiting for a couple of more confirmations to come in. We've also shared this information with possible nonprofit sponsors who will help us get the message out to more Latinos and Spanish speakers in Teaneck. And as soon as all of that is finalized, we will be sharing all of this information and the Zoom link with residents so they can participate and get more information on the vaccination process and what we need to do to better protect ourselves from this dangerous virus in a panel discussion format. Our goal is to, of course, answer as many questions as possible on the vaccine and COVID-19. It's going to be a very informative program that we hope many will tune into. And that is what we have been working on, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you taking the lead on this. Councilmember Rice, do you have anything else regarding the Black Lives Matter mural that we haven't covered?
Yeah, Mayor, I didn't realize you were gonna, thank you for reporting out of meeting with the students, but I just wanted to also add to that the 20+ letters that we've received in support from the community. Just wanted to make sure that we addressed those many letters. So I'm assuming that that's gonna be added to the conversation that you're having in terms of with the colleagues, my colleagues here on the council, in terms of the support. And I just wanted to mention that there is a cross section of community members ranging from the Ethical Cultural Society, Coalition of 100 Black Women, the Social Justice Committee of Congregation Beth Shalom, and a number of different community members, the YWCA, Block Associations, Teaneck Women Together, St. Anastasia Church. So just as was mentioned, the Black Lives Matter movement is a strong global force. It's actually being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And one of the notes in that is stating that there's a strong linkage between anti-racist movement and peace, and a recognition that without this kind of justice, there will be no peace and stability in society. So I'm just hoping that we will continue those conversations and pursue permanence in some form of the Black Lives Matter mural.
Okay, thank you. Dean, Township Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention that Isa Abbasi was very instrumental in the Leadership Teaneck program a few years back. We still have a lot of information on that program. So once we get started, we can get Isa involved in this a little bit as well. Want everyone to know I appointed Thomas Rowe as my new deputy manager on February 1st. He brings many years of experience in municipal government to Teaneck. Known Tom for a long time. He's going to be a welcome addition to my staff. I look forward to working with him on many projects. He's going to be focusing a lot on HR responsibilities, including workers' compensation, personnel matters, family leave, safety, training, contract negotiations. So he started on February 1st. And again, he's been a great addition. I have him helping out with some issues and responsibilities up at the Rota Center, the vaccine site. He's met all the council, and again, I think he's going to be a great addition to the team. We have a great nucleus of people here now in the clerk's office, manager's office, and we're really pushing projects forward. We continue to work closely with Holy Name on the vaccination site. Appointments will continue on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. I believe they're doing about 1,000 each day. The new registration portal is in place. The previous one was rota.holyname.org. And again, when that went live, yes, it was a little chaotic and first come, first serve with making appointments. We discussed with Holy Name creating a registration portal, and they were able to put that together last week. It went live last Thursday. So the new link, if everyone does not know, is vaccine.holyname.org. That's vaccine.holyname.org. If you cannot get an appointment, your information is taken and your name is put into the registration queue. some of the concerns I've gotten over the last couple days. Some people are having difficulty completing the registration process, but I will tell you that Google Chrome seems to work the best with the registration process. Some of the other browsers do not allow you to complete the registration process, but if you have Google Chrome and you're having difficulty, please use that browser and you should be able to get through and register your name. The state continues to provide the TNET vaccination site with weekly vaccine. The site has been recognized as a site that can produce the largest number of vaccinations throughout the state on a daily basis. We're very proud of that. My goal at some point is to have this up and running 7 days a week, and that's all contingent upon us receiving the vaccine. We've added additional wheelchairs. There's been concerns about seniors. How do we get them up to the front doors, into the vaccination point of distribution? We've added, I believe, about 8 or 10 additional wheelchairs at the site. We have staff outside that will bring the seniors or those with special needs inside. We just added golf carts to a list of equipment that will allow us to transport seniors and special need people to the front door. So we're doing everything possible to make this a positive experience for anyone coming to the TNEC point of distribution. I just want to personally thank our Public Works for getting the vaccination site operational last Tuesday. We were the only site in the state that opened after the storm. They worked through the night with front end loaders, moving snow, clearing the sidewalks, parking lots and roadways around the Rhoda Center so that we could vaccinate about 1,000 people that day. You can also get help with scheduling an appointment from the state of New Jersey by visiting covid19.nj.gov/vaccine help. Again, that website is covid19.nj.gov/vaccine help, or you can call 855-568-0545 for assistance. The TNEC hotline number remains active at 201-837-4840. That is staffed during normal business hours. That can be used for any TNEC senior or person with special needs who does not have access to the website or internet, and we will take all of your information down and we'll make sure that you get registered. As of this morning, speaking COVID, the township has 2,700 cases now and 115 deaths, 4 more deaths since my last report on January 19th. I continue my weekly calls with Dr. Irving regarding COVID-19 updates. Our health officer, Ken Catter, participates in those calls as well. And the communication between the town and the superintendent of schools has been very good. And we share information, very important information, and we'll continue to do so until the pandemic is over. There were many challenges during this last snowstorm. I'd like to remind everyone that TNEC has a total area of 6.24 square miles, 415 streets, and 119 miles of roadway, 25 parks, 14 of which are developed. And the DPW has additional responsibilities during these storms for bus stops, clearing bus stops, walkways, municipal parking lots, personnel for Public Works. They really did put in a tremendous effort last week to clear our roads. We have not seen this amount of snow since 1995. Again, we roughly had 2 feet of it. Every vehicle was in use during the storm. Staff worked alternating 12-hour shifts. Each shift had about 28 employees working. And again, it's very important to know we're responsible for clearing county roadways such as Cedar Lane, River Road, DeGraw Avenue, and some other roadways. All I ask is some patience with this. We want all work to be done timely, but more importantly, safely, so no employees get hurt. I don't think we had any casualties during the 2-foot snowstorm. DPW is going to be performing snow removal on some of our main arteries over the next couple of nights to clear the way for parking, for safe parking. The police department's going to assist them with temporarily closing down some of these roads so that again, this operation can take place safely. As a lot of you have heard, and I discussed with council last week, Atlantic Coast Fiber, which is located in Passaic, New Jersey, was destroyed due to a fire at the plant. Atlantic Coast Fiber was the township's, of course, drop-off point for all of our recycling materials. We will temporarily be bringing commingled material to Waste Management in Fairview and all paper and cardboard to IWS in Jersey City. All the commingled items eventually get transported from Fairview to the Atlantic Coast Fiber plant in Lakewood, and that'll be done by Waste Management. Speaking of recycling, the schedule for recycling pickup remains the same as posted in the recycling calendar. We want to remain on that schedule so there is no confusion. So this week it's zones 5 through 8. Zones 1 and 4 will be done next week, starting Tuesday, February 16th. Monday is President's Day, and that's a holiday. Again, I apologize for the cancellation of zones 1 through 4. Again, that was the week of the 2-foot snowstorm. We can't stop Mother Nature. All of our Packer trucks that are usually used for recycling are our heaviest vehicles, and we use them for the main arteries. So they were plowing all week. The depot, in case any resident wants to bring down recycling materials, will be open this Saturday and Sunday, but not on Friday due to the holiday. And also lastly, Ron Goodman is working on placing a schedule for all senior activities on our public access channel. If it's not posted already, it should be done shortly. Right now, all the recreation senior programs are running continuously throughout the day. So we're glad to have them up, but we want to get that schedule up so people have an idea, our seniors have an idea of when these programs are taking place. End of report.
Dean,
thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I have a question for Dean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dean, with the senior programming, is it possible to also give COVID information? I don't know, even teachable moments to
Sure.
assist our seniors, since they do have access oftentimes to that source as opposed to internet oftentimes. But if we can get information out through those channels, that may assist us in reaching our seniors.
So I'm in the process of having my assistant Luis put together some sort of tutorial in both English and in Spanish, and I want to put that on the public access channel for the registration process with Holy Name. So we should have that up very shortly, and that should help out.
Great, thank you.
And I just want to add, I mean, I've been over at Rhoda, I don't know, a dozen times and watched what I call the little miracle happen on the faces of the people that have come. But again, I've been on calls with mayors throughout the county, the governor's office. We're having another call, the mayors with the Department of Health on Thursday, talking about the issue of vaccine access and the issue related to getting to those people who really, really need it. Senior citizens, persons of color, we have to find a better way to do it. We have to get out there more, and we have to find another or additional mechanisms to get the vaccine done. Because at the end of the day, the more people we get vaccinated, everybody then becomes safer. It's not just a township, it's not just a county. We have to get everybody vaccinated. We have to hit that 85%. And right now, that number, given the number of people that are getting vaccinations in the United States, we're not going to meet that 85% or so immunity level until sometime in late September, early October by current projections. So, you know, we got a ways to go here, and we got to keep getting that vaccine flowing. So we're working on it. I know many other pods. I'm involved with 2 other pods down in the Elizabeth area where I work, and they are having the same difficulty of reaching out and getting the people, everybody, all the communities involved and get them in. So we're going to be talking about that with the Department of Health on Thursday.
And Mr. Mayor, if I could just add, just as we've been on the forefront on so many other areas, I think that if we could address reaching some of our communities, such as the young Latino population, as well as African American, who are 2 times more likely to die of the disease in
Mhm.
terms of how we can get access to those communities. You mentioned this was actually on a call with the governor this afternoon in terms of reaching hard to reach communities and access. So I'm actually going to be speaking with some faith-based organizations to how we can assist that, because it's a matter of speaking with folks they can trust and getting information from folks they can trust, which will can assist getting access.
That's correct. I agree with you. Okay, Township Attorney's report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Other than the extensive discussion we had in the closed session today, there's nothing additional to report.
Okay, thank you. And we do not have any adoption of ordinances at this meeting on the agenda, so we will now move to good and welfare and public input on any matter, including the 2021 budget. So Doug,
Yes, good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. The deal is the same. You will be given 3 minutes to speak. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand in the software of Zoom, and I will call on you as I see your hand coming up. You will be given 3 minutes. We have decided in the past that we will no longer be interrupting anybody because that's rude. When your time is up at about 3 minutes, I will unfortunately just mute you and turn you off. And if you do not fit in your full thought in that 3 minutes, please feel free to email me at clerk@tnecnj.gov, and I will be sure to copy and paste your statement verbatim directly into the minutes, just so nothing is lost in translation. And again, as the mayor detailed, we are also taking comments on any kind of idea that you might have for the 2021 municipal budget, which will be coming in a few weeks. And with that, I'm going to be calling in our first speaker, and I see Mr. White. Good to hear from you again, sir. Mr. White, you must unmute.
Got it. Good evening, everybody. My name is Odin Creepy White, and I'll be speaking on behalf of the Black Lives Matter Mural Committee. The Teaneck Black Lives Matter Mural Committee has received significant support from Teaneck and neighboring residents and organizations in designating permanent status to the BLM mural. Teaneck's long and important history as a progressive, inclusive, anti-racist community supports the need for a permanent mural. The Teaneck mural continues to grow in importance and stature as time progresses. The BLM movement is not merely a local movement or a national movement, but has become an international peace movement. We are proud to have the first and only BLM mural in Bergen County, thanks to your support. Now, as many of you may be aware of, the BLM movement has recently been nominated for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. This is a significant achievement, recognizing the BLM movement as the strongest global force fighting worldwide systemic racism that has spread around the entire earth. In his nomination papers, the Norwegian MP, Peter Eddy, said the movement had forced countries outside the US to grapple with racism within their own societies. I find that one of the key challenges that we have seen in America, but also in Europe and Asia, is a kind of increasing conflict based on equality. They have had a tremendous achievement in raising a global awareness and consciousness about racial justice. They have been able to mobilize people from all groups of society, not just African Americans, not just oppressed people. It has become a broad movement in a way which has differed from their predecessors. There's a strong linkage between anti-racism movement and peace, and a recognition that without this kind of justice, there will be no peace and no stability in society. So now what we do is we urge the council to listen to all the constituents and recognize the emotional and political importance of this mural in our town and vote for its permanent place in our township. Your support will positively impact all races and religions in our town and continue Teaneck's legacy of being a model and truly anti-racist community. Respectfully submitted, the Black Lives Matter Mural Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. White. It's always good to hear from you, sir. I hope you're well. I'm bringing in a Peter Glick. Peter Glick, you must unmute. Peter Glick.
Good evening, everybody. I'm a resident for 35 years at 266 Winthrop Road. I'm also an elected representative for Teanec's 12th voting district on the Bergen County and Teaneck Municipal Democratic Committees. My comment and questions relate to the Black Lives Matter mural and when and how issues of concern are addressed. First, thank you to the mayor and council members, their staff, our township manager, and all of our township employees and volunteers for their dedication, time, energy, and service, especially during the pandemic and this bad weather. You've been elected for 4-year terms and entrusted to work for and in the best interests of the entire community. Part of that trust entails a robust, transparent, and timely means of communicating back and forth with the community, especially concerning sensitive issues. Thank you to the mayor for your brief comments earlier tonight about the mural. That is a step in the right direction. Thank you also to Councilmember Romney Rice for making this an agenda item. On January 19th, I sent the following email to you, council members. After our great country has had 246 years of enslavement, followed by segregation, Jim Crow laws, lynchings, voter disenfranchisement, mass incarceration, economic, social, and public health discrimination, murders by members of law enforcement, and daily microaggressions. Can it really be that here in Teaneck, our leaders, our public servants, are so devoid of social conscience, of moral indignation, as to deny a request to make permanent the Black Lives Matter mural? The time is now to cross the line and stand on the right side of history, to break with the past and be an example of righteousness. I have not received a response so far to this email. So, what are the issues you are grappling with in deciding whether or not to make the mural permanent? In general, how are you including the broader community in your considerations in real time rather than just when these monthly meetings occur? Can you set up a part of the township website that carries real-time updates on issues being considered and ways for community members to contact relevant people with input? Perhaps something Twitter style that limits the size of the input. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Glick. I'm bringing in Susanna. Susanna, I was bringing her in. Oh, sorry. Susanna Amato. Susanna Amato. You must unmute.
Okay,
Susanna?
sorry, I got kicked out before. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. You have 3 minutes, miss.
Okay, so I'm a longtime resident of Teaneck. I live on a residential street, Beverly Road, between Lincoln and Catalpa. And I have always adhered to the alternate side parking regulations and have for the whole time I've lived here. I had assumed that they were in place to ensure that the DPW could either clean sweep or plow after snow events to clean the streets so that people can then park. I understand that this is a major issue right now, being that you guys were talking about snow plowing and all that. And I understand the DPW has been doing the best job that they can. But I was informed, however, from a police officer recently that it's not enforced for either of these circumstances, but as a commuter parking deterrent, which on these streets does not make a lot of sense because people can just read the sign and know that they could either park on one side of the street or the other and still commute. I'm assuming that during the snow event where the Teaneck DPW did not clear the streets for residents to be able to park, the parking was very limited. And a lot of us are working from home due to COVID and also when schools closed for virtual days. So I was working from home and could not move my car to the other side of the street because there was no parking. I had been moving my car back and forth during the snow whenever I can find a spot, but I did not have a spot on this day and I had to work remotely from home as a teacher. But I was issued a summons on my block. when there was clearly no other place to park. These conditions are very stressful to neighbors, as we're all now fighting for spots on our block. People dig out themselves, and then when they leave and somebody else takes their spot, it becomes a big problem. They think they own the spots. All this frustration could all be eliminated if there were clearer communication, leave some longer logical dispensation for parking until it's obvious that the block has been cleared by the Teaneck DPW. But maybe if this is not something that could be done, maybe a resident placard program would make more sense, so that police officers or parking enforcement officers do not have to ticket otherwise law-abiding, tax-paying residents of the town of Teaneck. So when we live on our block but we can't park someplace else, we're not commuters, we're residents working from home, and we get issued tickets anyway. So this is my idea, to just start a placard program which shows that we are residents of this block. If the parking enforcement officers don't have the ability to run the license plate to see that I lived right across the street from where I was parked. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amato. I am now bringing in the Teaneck Youth Initiative. Please unmute yourself, Teaneck Youth Initiative, and also please state your name for the record.
Hello, Teaneck Town Council. My name is Teji Vega, and I am speaking on behalf of the Teaneck Youth Initiative.
Teji Vega.
Yes.
Teji Vega, you got it, sir. Sorry, I just couldn't hear you. You have 3 minutes.
Absolutely. So, dear Teaneck Town Council, the Teaneck community has expressed concern that the Black Lives Matter mural located on Palisades Avenue currently has a temporary status of 180 days. The community is demanding a permanent status be placed on this resolution. We believe that it is imperative that the Black community in Teaneck feel secure and welcomed within this township. Black lives are not important for only 180 days. And it should be a continuing mission of this town council to sympathize and support the lives of our constituents. To make the mural temporary is to say that Black lives and the Black Lives Matter movement is temporary. The mural is symbolic. It's a symbolic statement and a representation that oppression, racism, and police brutality are not and will not be tolerated in this community. It is no surprise that throughout history, injustices have oppressed the Black population in this country since its inception. With such a large Black population in Teaneck, it would be negligent of this council to not cater attention to this issue of the existence of the mural. As acts of racism and white supremacy continue to plague this nation, including the insurrection committed within our nation's capital, the leadership of our community should be actively working to ease the anxiety of Teaneck's minority population. The council must remember that supporting the Black community as an injustice continues across this country will help unify the township as a whole. We, the Teaneck Youth Initiative, have the mission to educate and advocate for a unified township. The Youth Initiative will continue to strive toward township unification for the good of the Teaneck community. And we believe that the permanence of the mural is the least that can be done by this Teaneck council to help in the fight against racial inequality in these United States. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now bringing in who I believe to be Miss Sandy.
Good evening.
Hello, Sandy.
Okay, you can hear me. Good evening, council and guests. I want to just raise my voice in support of Yvonne Witter. I've known Yvonne a very long time and worked with her when she helped to serve as a liaison for students doing community service when we used to hold a book sale at the library. And I know she's involved in so many other initiatives, and it's not from yesterday, it's from a very long time. So well chosen, council. I'm so happy to see that. I also wanted to thank Councilwoman Romney Rice for the COVID education roundtable that she chaired a week or so ago. I had the good fortune to attend it and fell madly in love with some of the panel members. I learned a lot, And I thought that, I just wondered how many people attended and how are we going to switch a little bit the dynamic from speaking to people and including hearing from people. I know there was a question and answer period, but I think there were a lot more questions that the community wanted to raise. In terms of the 2021 budget, you know, I'm going to ask as nicely as I can to please support the library's ask, particularly for the position to deal with emerging technologies. It's become rather obvious we need to do that. The town manager has my undying support and thanks. I think the snow in my neighborhood was handled extremely well. I wondered two things. We had a rash of burglaries in the area, and I wondered if someone could provide a little bit of an update. I'm sure the snow helped a little bit in cutting down those kinds of things, but I'd like a little bit of an update if that's possible. And the last thing I want to say is the Black Lives Matter mural that I don't understand what the questions are. I know what they like to pretend to be, but I think it's time to act decisively and stop trying to placate some of the parts of Teaneck and the communities in Teaneck that aren't as supportive of the Black Lives mural. The other speakers spoke to it so eloquently. We all have to speak to that, and we all have to support it. So I wanted to thank you. Those are my comments.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Always a pleasure to hear from you. I am bringing in now. There's a phone number here. I cannot promote them to a panelist, so I need to allow them to talk. 201 with the last three numbers of 552. It is your chance to speak, and you have 3 minutes. Please state your name for the record. I believe you need to press *6 or *9 to speak.
Yes, can you hear me?
Hello, 552. 552.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please state your name for the record.
Natasha Pennell.
Natasha Pennell, you got 3 minutes, miss.
Okay, first off, I would also like to acknowledge Miss Witter. I met her years ago when she was a part of the 100 Coalition of Black Women Coalition. She has spearheaded the forum, and I'm just pointing that out as well because the forum is an awesome program for the youth, and it actually was created because as a result of my brother's death 30 years ago. Teaneck High School created the forum to allow students to have a safe haven or somewhere to go to express their grievance and just to wrap their heads around what happened. So with that being said, I'm on behalf of the Philip Pennell Foundation, dear Teaneck Town Council, I would like to say thank you for your commitment to memorializing and honoring all Black lives lost by granting residents the Black Lives Matter mural in Teaneck. We are asking that you will allow the BLM mural of Teaneck to permanently remain. My brother Philip Pennell met a tragic demise at the hands of a Teaneck police officer 30 years ago, but it feels like it occurred yesterday. My brother was not a perfect teen, yet no one is perfect. However, the officer denied him the opportunity to grow into his best self. For too many in America, the BLM movement is simply a social media hashtag or political volleyball talked about during the election cycle. However, my family has been living the Black Lives Matter movement for 30 years. Since I was 13 years old, I've had to declare that Philip Pennell's life mattered, and it still does. For better or worse, his name is woven into the tapestry of Teaneck's history. Through his tragic death, it has been my family's goal to have Teaneck, the community, and beyond to learn and grow from the unfortunate events that took place that day. We don't want his death to be in vain. There has been a great deal of support from people both locally and nationally. We are happy that Teaneck has decided to finally be on the right side of history by even having the mural completed. In closing, I would like to acknowledge the Teaneck Board of Education's decision to have, in addition to this mural, another with my brother's name attached. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter, and please everyone continue to stay safe and practice COVID protocols. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pennell. You also please be safe out there. I am bringing in now Miss Libby Klein. Miss Libby Klein.
I'm here.
Hello, you have 3 minutes, miss.
Thank you. I'm actually speaking tonight for Rabbi Julia Andelman, who intended to attend the meeting but was unable to at the last minute for childcare reasons. She resides at 266 Maitland Avenue, and she asked me to read the letter that she's written. Dear council members, I am writing to express my strong and unqualified support for leaving Teaneck's stunning Black Lives Matter mural intact in its current location across from the Rudda Center. As a Jewish resident of Teaneck, I feel that we have enormous work to do in mending serious tensions between the Black and Jewish communities here. Destroying the mural would be a callous slap in the face for Black residents of Teaneck that would serve only to inflame those tensions, not calm them. It would also be a cruel and needless insult to the many people of all faiths and ethnicities who worked so hard to envision and create this beautiful work of art and conscience. Finally, it would be a deeply troubling statement that some lives matter more than others, which flies in the face of the core Jewish belief that all people were created in a divine image, B'Tselem Elohim, and are deserving the same rights and human dignity. I am not someone who generally struggles to see two sides of an issue, but in this case, I am frankly incapable of understanding any rational argument for defacing or erasing this powerful display of our ethical commitments as a community. Nor do I understand why only a temporary permit was issued in the first place. I can only guess that that decision was based on an erroneous conflation of the Black Lives Matter movement with anti-Semitic or anti-Israel sentiment, and that some Jewish residents therefore opposed the mural. This position is misguided. The Black Lives Matter movement is diffuse and diverse. One subset of the movement for Black Lives, opposes US military aid toward Israel, but this is not the consensus position of the entire movement. Black Lives Matter should be understood as the new civil rights movement in America, not as a particular set of policies or organizations. The Jewish community should be proud of its strong solidarity and participation in the civil rights movement of the past and should be equally eager to engage in the present. Racism and anti-Semitism are not oppositional, but rather must be fought together. With Teaneck's proud history of the pioneering integration of public schools, this is the last place that a Black Lives Matter mural should be destroyed. Thank you for your leadership in standing up for Black lives, the solidarity of the Teaneck community, and the human dignity of all of its residents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Klein, for sharing that. I am now bringing in MJ. MJ, if you can, please unmute and state your name for the record.
Good evening. This is MJ Lockey. I am a teacher in the Teaneck Public Schools, and I'm calling in with a statement of support for the Black Lives Matter mural, as well as an invitation to an upcoming workshop. The statement is actually on behalf of the Anti-Racist Alliance of Bergen County Educators. We are in support of changing the temporary status of the Black Lives Matter mural to permanent. Our alliance is a coalition of Bergen County educators committed to anti-racist development, advocacy, and organizing in school systems. It's our understanding that the BLM Mural Committee, composed of Teaneck students and community members, negotiated with the Teaneck Council for 4 months to obtain permission to bring the mural to life on township property. The original design and location proposed by the committee were rejected by the council, and the committee acquiesced to several unwanted compromises, including the removal of Philip Pinnell's name from the original design. Additionally, a requirement to renew every 180 days was imposed. Teaneck has long been viewed as a town that champions its diversity. The BLM mural symbolizes Teaneck's commitment to Black humanity and promotes equity, justice, and unity at no monetary cost to the township. The community is looking for you to use your political leadership to authorize its permanency. To individual council members opposed to this, we invite you to explore why you resist and to expand your understanding of the principles that guide the Black Lives Matter Black Lives Matter movement, pardon me. It is a movement that works vigorously for freedom and justice for Black people and by extension, all people. We urge you, the governing body of the township, to stand in solidarity with the Teaneck Black Lives Matter Mural Committee and many other local organizations who are calling for the mural to be a permanent fixture. The invitation that I would like to extend is, I am the co-chair of the Teaneck Families and Schools Together program. It's a program of the teachers union. We're offering a workshop on understanding racialized outcomes on Monday, February 15th, and we invite you to be in community with us. It's offered free of charge to Teaneck families, schools, teachers, staff, community members. We're looking forward to sharing space with an intergenerational group of Teaneck folks. Elected officials, including some of our Board of Education trustees and Councilwoman Rice, have already registered, and there are a few spots left, and we invite other town council members to consider joining us. I will follow up with an email tonight to the entire council. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing it, MJ. I now am bringing in Sarah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Sarah, you are a little quiet, but I'm just going to put my ear near the computer. You have 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. Do I have to state my town and my address?
No, it's okay, Sarah. I see your name here.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, so I also just wanted to talk about the Black Lives Matter mural. I want to echo and just kind of like emphasize what previous speakers were saying about their support for making it permanent on the road. So I just wanted to, so I think to my knowledge, it has only been up for 180 days and we're trying to push it towards its permanency. And I want to just kind of like support those that were speaking about it before, as Black Lives Matter is not just something that existed in June of 2020. It's something that's ongoing. It's something that minorities of people of all backgrounds, of all minorities, all religions and cultures support. And I just wanted to emphasize the importance of having symbolism towards the Black liberation movement in Teaneck, since it's a very diverse area. And of course, since symbolism isn't the last step that people take towards civil justice, it's definitely one of the steps. I wouldn't say it's the bare minimum. It's definitely something to say that, oh, I'm okay with saying Black Lives Matter despite the backlash that I might receive. And I feel like it makes someone very courageous in order to make these things permanent. So I do urge you all to consider its permanency as well. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you, Sarah. I now see a Dr. Charles Powers. Dr. Charles Powers, how are you, sir? You must unmute. Dr. Charles Powers. I see you've unmuted, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. First, I want to shout out to Yvonne, our colleague, Yvonne Witter. Amazing stuff the woman does. And to the manager and Kevin and to the entire DPW for what they've done over the last week. I also want to express my gratitude for living in a town which, in a way, more effectively than its elected leadership and certainly its land use boards, is committed in a very extraordinary way to the kind of diversity that the Black Lives Matter coalitions that are building in this town, and the entire group of very diverse citizens in Teaneck who recognize that shoving the poor people to the back of the lot in the Haluma property made no sense at all, and took up Mr. Kaplan's suggestion, supported by several others, that the matter be taken to where the agreement that the township had made about that question of segregated housing at Haluma would actually be effectively addressed according to what we had already committed ourselves to having done. I also want to take a few minutes to touch on the budget. We have really no information about what's actually happening with the budget this year. We have to have a budget from the manager by the 26th of this month. We're supposed to have an annual debts statement, which was supposed to have been up on the website by the 31st of this month. So far as I can tell, it's not there. And understanding debt in this town is going to be a very important aspect of trying to understand the budget this year. And further, the ADS will be coming along soon after that. We need to be very careful this year to understand what's actually happening and to recognize that the township's residents will have an opportunity to much better understand their budgets this year, because it will be required that the user-friendly budget will be available to everyone in town after the budget is introduced. That will give us an additional perspective that will allow people to be able to follow the money much more effectively than we have in the past. I want to take just one last minute to note, it is very concerning to me that the Election Law Enforcement Commission's rules about when it is that the full set of data required in the reporting relationship was effectively not carried through by the Moving Teaneck Forward coalition this year. In fact, it was only 20 days ago that we began to get the information, a substantial new tranche of information about where the money had come from that supported the MTF, and beside that, where it is that money went. It turns out that, so far as I can figure out, there was $83,000 available to MTF, and where it came from was largely 88% from outside of Teaneck. We need to have known that back when it is that the Election Law Enforcement Commission said we should know it. We need to follow the money, and we need to have our people running for our nonpartisan government, who were this time supported by several parties.
I apologize, Dr. Powers. You were over the 3 minutes there. Again, I'm sorry. Please send me an email and I will be sure to add it to your section of the minutes there. Again, I apologize, everybody. Just trying to keep our comments timely. If you're above 3 minutes, I really don't want to interrupt anybody, so I unfortunately just have to cut you off, which I don't like to do. Shayna.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Shayna Dworkin, and I am on the leadership team of Teaneck Women Together. And first off, I want to thank Councilwoman Jervonne Romney Rice for her work with us and her continued advocacy to really be a bridge between the council and the grassroots efforts here in town. We previously sent a letter, and it's on record, October 26, 2020, expressing our support for the Black Lives Matter mural to be permanent. And we wanted to just reconfirm our commitment to seeing that become permanent. And really, we support everything that the youth have said, the Black Lives Matter Mural Committee, the Teaneck Youth Initiative, and all the points that they made. But for us, what we really feel as a grassroots organization, we're a group of diverse, progressive women committed to community building, that this mural is so important to the community, to bringing people together. It's an important gathering space, and it really shows Teaneck's commitment to anti-racism. And what we really wanted to see, and we said this in the letter, is for the council to take the lead, right? There's a lot of people in town who are doing this work. We have a lot of anti-racist professionals and experts in town, but we need you guys to step up and to take the lead. We asked you guys about trainings. You guys said you were going to have, you know, some series. I know it got pushed back to March. It just seems like we're constantly waiting and waiting, and we can't wait anymore. So we really would like to see some action being taken here. I'm honestly not even sure what the next steps are for getting this voted. You know, none of this process is clear and made public. So what's constantly missing is dialogue. Like, why can't we have a community session, not a 5-hour board meeting where, you know, we have to sit here for 5 hours to speak 3 minutes? Why can't we have a separate session on this and use it as an opportunity to bring people together to talk about why Black Lives Matter here in Teaneck and to get this done? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shana. I'm now bringing in Paula Reiner. Paula Reiner, please unmute. Hang on. Paula Reiner. Paula Reiner, please unmute.
You hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Paula. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Paula Madison Reiner. I am the president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Bergen Passaic chapter. And I'd like to read just a little bit of the letter that we sent to the council. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women strongly expresses our staunch support for the permanency of the Teaneck Black Lives Matter mural. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women is a national organization whose mission is to advocate on behalf of Black women and girls for leadership development and gender equity in the areas of health, education, economic empowerment, and public advocacy. Most of our 65+ members live in Teaneck. Our meeting site and office are located in the township of Teaneck. Thus, we have a vested interest in the well-being of the Teaneck community. As a resident of Teaneck and president of NCBW, we implore the town council to take the critical steps towards making a better future in our town by making the Black Lives Matter mural permanent. The Teaneck BLM mural was made possible by many people in Teaneck and beyond who provided funds for the design, supplies, and contributed their time to paint the mural. The overwhelming response to support the mural highlights the importance of such a symbolic display that should remain a permanent part of Teaneck's history. Teaneck prides itself on being a diverse community that is inclusive of all its residents and cultural differences. The Black Lives Matter mural is a representation of the town's diversity that serves as a reminder that all lives, especially Black lives, are valued in Teaneck as a recognition and response to the adverse treatment people of color have historically experienced throughout this country. The mural is a message that this community will uphold its commitment to diversity and denigrates the practice of unfairly treating Black lives in an unjustifiable manner. Thus, we, the members of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Bergen Passaic chapter, support the permanency of the Teaneck Black Lives Matter mural and humbly request that the council moves to take necessary action to make the mural permanent. In the words of Martin Luther King, the time is always right to do what is right. Further, I'd like to congratulate our NCBW member and immediate past president, Yvonne Witter, on her deserved recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Bringing in Miss Debbie Eliyahu. Hello, Debbie, please unmute.
Hi, I just did. Am I being heard?
Loud and clear, miss. You have 3 minutes. You know the drill.
Thank you, I do. First of all, I would like to say that the change in the registration for the vaccines is a wonderful, wonderful improvement, a vast improvement. My mother is 92 and we were both struggling with getting her registered through the hotline. I tried. I'd press 1, it would hang up on me. I couldn't get an answer, and that portal made a world of difference. So my mother got there, and she was very shaky and very nervous. And somebody came out and brought her a wheelchair and took her through the whole process. And it was wonderful for her. They were so kind. Everybody was kind and patient and gentle with her, and even called my husband to pick her up when she couldn't find her cell phone. And she came home feeling safe and protected. And I just can't thank everybody enough who took part in that. And Dean, you know I'm speaking to you, who just made this happen. I have no words. So thank you, thank you, thank you for making this wonderful improvement. The next thing I want to say is about the Black Lives Matter mural. I come from a very diverse family, whether it's race, religion, sexual orientation. We run the gamut. And we feel that every member of our family is equal, and we love them equally. And we feel that they should be recognized as such. And I wonder what this lack of permanence, what kind of message this gives to the different members of our family. And even more so, what kind of message this sends to the children. And I think that the fact that this is even being debated for so long sends a very sad message. And I think it's time to end the debate and just say permanent. I think that's a message that we all need to hear, the entire community, and particularly the children, that Black Lives Matter. Teaneck knows it, Teaneck recognizes it, and that's the end of that. It is simply a statement that Teaneck has to make, and make this mural permanent and recognize it and respect it. That's what I think. And I thank you all for listening. And I hope you all stay safe. And Dean, thank you for everything you did through the snow. I know it wasn't easy. I remember being in the city and watching people cross country ski along Central Park West. And this was very much like that. So thank you. But yes, please make the mural permanent. Thank you.
Thank you as always for sharing, Debbie. It's always great to hear from you. You also please be safe. I have brought in Reggie Pittman. Reggie Pittman, please unmute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, Reggie Pittman, you have 3 minutes.
All right, great. Well, first of all, thanks for allowing me to speak. I have 3 points that I want to make as a member of the Black Lives Matter Mural Committee. One is first to say thank you to the Teaneck Council for unanimously approving the BLM mural. That's the first thing. Secondly, I want to say we want as Teaneck to continue being leaders of Teaneck to move forward collectively as a community by keeping the mural there and making the mural permanent. The third thing is to continue the quality of life for the Bergen County community, because we are the first to have a Black Lives Matter mural, and we want to continue to lead by example and not just by words. So those are the 3 things. I know I have 3 minutes, but I'm taking less than 1. That's what I have to say. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Reggie. And I am now bringing Adina Kastner. I apologize if I butchered your last name, Adina. Adina Kastner, you have 3 minutes. Please unmute.
Hi there, how are you?
Hello, Adina, 3 minutes.
Esteemed council members, I come before you as someone who's lived in Teaneck 12 years. My husband was born and raised here. We are raising our 2 sons in this town. We both teach in Orthodox Jewish schools and attend Orthodox Jewish schools. I'm also part of Teaneck Women Together, a wonderful coalition of women of all ages, races, and creeds who wish to see the community grow in its inclusivity and unity. When someone tells you that they're hurting, it is so important to listen. It's just empathy. And when someone gives you ways to show support and foster healing, if you care, then you follow their lead. Currently, the Black community in Teaneck, especially the young people, are seeking to make the BLM mural across from the Rhoda Center permanent. This mural is something that the community finds healing, and so this is something we must support. The context of this slogan expresses Black pride and unites the community behind the essential principle that the lives of our neighbors have value and must be protected. This is a unique opportunity to demonstrate our love for our fellow Teaneck residents in a way that costs us so little. Thank you so much for your time this evening and for everything that you do.
Thank you so much for sharing and coming on, Tina. Mayor, at this time, I see no more hands.
Yep, we will close good and welfare at this time. If you have statements, anybody else has statements that they want the council to see, they can send it to the clerk, and he will include it in the minutes. Okay, let's start now with comments from council. We'll start with Councilmember Rice.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to just start by saying Happy Black History Month, and I'm so grateful to the library, our township-related members of the MLK Committee, FDU, the Teaneck Public Schools, and so many other groups for their rich programming this month that so many residents hopefully are taking advantage of to find out more about Black history. Also, just appreciate the moment of silence for Ms. Akery, a longtime advocate, staunch advocate of our community, and who was, to me, a mentor, who I also considered, and many members considered her the unofficial mayor of Teaneck. And she has a long legacy of dedication and service, and just wanted to express my condolences to her family and thank them for allowing her to serve our community so well. I'd also like to thank all of the many community members and the diverse group that expressed their support of the Black Lives Matter. I think just tonight, just hearing from all of the residents is just a demonstration of pride of our diversity and a demonstration of why this should be taking place. Also, as was shared in terms of the Holy Name Hospital partnership, again, led by our township manager who has worked tirelessly. I don't know who works more hours than he does, whether it's the snow, whether it's COVID. It's a marvelous operation, especially as Debbie Eliyahu mentioned, once you get inside the doors. But I know that we've had challenges for booking appointments. I know that it's a state issue that our governor is working on in terms of access and equitable access. And I look forward to working with my colleagues, as well as faith-based organizations and many residents, so that we here can address the access issue that we know is happening even here, even though we have a wonderful system internally. Once you get through the doors, it's getting the access that we know that we're having an issue with. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Pagan.
Thank you, Mayor. Every February, Americans of all races come together to recognize and celebrate Black History Month, because African-American history is filled with extraordinary people who have left an incredible mark on Teaneck, on New Jersey, and on our entire country. Every American has special cause this February to be proud of our diversity and the progress that we've made as a country, especially during just these past few weeks alone. Though the fight for equality is not over, our country put a down payment on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream that one day people will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And that is why it is important that we continue to recommit ourselves to the proposition that everyone is created equal, that everyone deserves respect, and that everyone has a fair chance to achieve their full measure of economic opportunity and prosperity. Mr. Mayor, I also want to thank our DPW and our municipal staff for all the work they did this past week to help make our streets safe for residents. More than 2 feet of snow fell in Teaneck this past week alone, and it is always a challenge to remove snow of that magnitude, but our DPW did a tremendous job, and I salute them for it. When it comes to budget season, which is rapidly approaching, it is important to remember that budgets are about priorities, and one of our biggest priorities is public safety, which is why we are working so hard with Holy Name Hospital to vaccinate as many people as possible at the Rhoda Center, which has become a beacon in the fight against COVID-19. Residents who want to sign up for the vaccine can do so at www.vaccineholyname.org. Each registered individual will receive a unique code that is not transferable and can be used only once within 12 to 24 hours of receipt. This code will enable recipients to select the date and time slot most convenient for their schedule. We have been fighting COVID-19 for almost a year now, and this fight is going to continue for another year possibly. But if we all work together, if we all help each other, we can conquer COVID, because it takes all of us to win this fight together. Mr. Mayor, that is my 3 minutes, and I thank you for the time.
Thank you, Councilmember Padan. Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding Ms. Amato about the parking restrictions on Beverly, I believe those were from the late 1980s, voted on by a certain Councilman Liu at the time. And council is generally amenable to changes when residents find that situations have changed. If you want to bring a petition to council outlining the changes you seek, we would be glad to see what might be possible. But I do caution you and anybody else that requests that a lot of the parking restrictions are typically changed to what they currently are because reasons required residents to request them. So you don't want a situation where those problems can reoccur simply because the fix is removed. We are in February, so I wanted to mention the various programs the library has for Black History Month, including one from Theodora Lacey on the 25th entitled Dr. King's Legacy Lives On. In addition, I made a post on Teaneck Today, it's teanecktoday.com, regarding James Payne. For those unfamiliar with him and his story, he's the first chapter of Damerel's book, Triumph in a White Suburb, which chronicles the Teaneck school integration. Theodora Lacey herself called Mr. Payne a pioneer, having decided to move from Englewood to the white section of Teaneck in 1951, and I'd encourage others to read about him. I'd be happy to research others if you have suggestions for who to go to next. I'm not going to speak directly to the mural other than to say that I understand why many are in favor, and I'm sure we're going to figure that out soon. The mayor's been meeting with the various groups, and I have every confidence in him to figure that out. But I did want to talk about the next step. The mural, as many have talked about, is the symbolism. It's the thing that shows we're serious. And I want to talk about what we do after we get the symbols down. I put in a couple years of work to make an ordinance I hope we'll introduce later today. It's a privacy ordinance. I started working on it when I saw that members of Congress, mostly with Black faces, were scanned in the database and flagged as possible suspects. I read about how even here in New Jersey, Black faces were being scanned and jailed on the say-so of machines. And the ban is important because it actually makes lives better for real people. Regular watchers know that I've been pushing for vest cams for our officers, and for quite some time, I've been trying to do policies that affect real people here in Teaneck. So while we're working on the symbolic measures, and I understand why those are important, I hope we can also have a dialogue about the things that we can do policy-wise to make lives better here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Kaplan. Councilmember Organ.
I wasn't going to say anything, but now I feel I need to reach out to Ms. Amato. If you could send me an email with your contact information, I'll come down and take a look for you. Thank you, Councilman Kaplan. Otherwise, I'm good.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two items. One, just a reminder when it comes to parking, the municipal lots are open to parking during snowstorms. So if you do live on Beverly, there are 1, 2, 3 municipal lots off Beverly, one at Garrison, one right up the block at Garrison, at Williams, and one at River Road. So there are some options there. Please tell your neighbors. Also, Mr. Mayor, I look forward to your dialogue with all the related parties in the Black Lives mural. And I thank everyone for their letters and looking forward to hearing how we move forward. Thank you very much, everyone, and let's hope for no snow on Friday.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Katz.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I just have a couple of things. First off, I'm going to ask Dean if you could just briefly go over the timeline on the budget, because I know there were changes from the state and people may not be aware of them.
Yep, sure. So the local finance board changed a few dates. TNEC submitted our annual debt statement to the state on January 29th. I just spoke to Ron Goodman. The document is online for the public to view. My budget to council has to be to you by March 4th. That will get to you by that date. The AFS, the annual financial statement, is due on March 5th. The introduction of the budget must take place by April 13th, and the adoption by May 11th. So everything is moving forward timely. We're in compliance. And again, the annual debt statement was submitted to the state timely on January 29th. It is on the website. And Issa and I are moving forward with the budget. Two other things I wanted to say that I didn't say during my manager's report. Again, I've been suspending the parking provisions in the municipal lots very early during an anticipated snowfall, as well as any metered lots, to make sure I give the public, the residents, a good opportunity to move their cars to municipal lots. So I stay on top of that and give more than ample time and communication so that everyone knows, hey, it's time now to move your car. The other thing is just Bergen County hazardous waste collection schedule is on the township's website. This is the opportunity for residents to take their hazardous waste to a safer place. There are dates for disposal: March, April, May, June, July, September, October, and November. So that document is online as well. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Dean. And I know you and Issa, because I've been calling you on Saturdays and you're in the office doing the budget. So I know the two of you have been working very hard, and I appreciate both your hard work on that.
Thank you.
In terms of the Black Lives Matter mural, I can assure everybody that this council has read everything that has been sent to us. Now, you don't know the volume of things that are sent to us, and we all have full-time jobs in addition. But I can assure you that everyone is paying close attention, because I've talked to them about it. We're gonna have those conversations, as I've mentioned before. And I think in the past I've kind of been clear in what my feelings are relative to the mural, which is positive. And I'm going to, again, I'm going to circle around to the council, and I want to get something done and get a decision made as soon as possible. But I have to respect having those conversations first. That's why I reached out to, they reached out to us, and I wanted to meet with, if you go back and look at the meeting, the last council meeting, that I wanted to meet with the mural committee first, because I felt that they should have our respect in what they've done, and to have them have an opportunity to talk to us about that. And that has been done. And as I mentioned, we have another meeting set up in a couple of weeks to circle back, so I can tell them what our discussions were. So by no means is this issue, I don't see it as an issue. An issue sounds negative, and I don't think this is a negative issue. That this item is just going to go away. It is not going to go away. We know we don't want it to go away, and we want to make this right, and we want TNEC to lead. As I have said since the first day I've been in office, I want Teaneck to be the leader in whatever it can be. And certainly this is something that we can lead in. So I'll leave it with that. And just so you know, in terms of next steps, again, the lectures that we're going to have in March, I think are a good next step. And then we're going to take that information, we're going to give it to our advisory board on community relations, who will then make recommendations for activities and events that can be held in order to promote the things that we talk about in those lectures and those workshops. So nothing is getting dropped. Nothing is slowly making it go away. That's not the case at all. So I wanted everybody to know that there was a plan in place to do that. The last thing I want to talk about is the pod, because I know it has been the pod, the vaccine distribution center. I use the term pod because that's what the state uses. Right now, we have the best one in the state. That doesn't mean it's perfect. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't have the same issues as all the other distribution centers throughout the state. I can tell you that it does. Also realize that while obviously this is the most convenient, we have a queue that has many thousands of people in it, just like others. For example, Robert Wood Johnson, RWJ Barnabas has a queue of over 400,000 people trying to get vaccine in their medical center. So the demand is great, and the vaccine is not, the amount of vaccine is not meeting it. But we think we have a way of distributing it so that once vaccine is readily available and flows, we'll be able to maximize it for everyone. So we are open to any ideas and conversations about how we can reach out to other people. As you know, Councilmember Rice and I did the presentations with the wonderful panelists a couple of weeks ago, and we'll do another one for the Latino community in a few weeks. So we're not stopping. We want to move ahead. We want to change and evolve to make this the best possible thing we can do. But I also too want to thank the police, and I want to thank the DPW. The police have been phenomenal in how they have handled people coming to the pod. I've seen it time and time again, each one of them showing compassion, showing assistance, showing a can-do attitude of making sure that people are comfortable. And it has made every person happy to be there. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and we're going to keep working on it and make everything as right as we possibly can. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Would the clerk read in the bill list, please?
Consent agenda, again, Mayor, this is the consent agenda, which includes the minutes, the resolutions, and the bill list in the amount of $5,866,402.26.
Okay. Can I ask?
And just remember, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mayor. I just want council to remember that this consent agenda is including Resolution 43, which was walked in by everybody earlier this evening, which was Councilman Begon's suggested resolution about the bridge stuff. I apologize. It's just blank on the line right now.
Make a motion, Councilman Schwartz.
Second.
I think I heard Councilman Begon there.
Begon, okay. Does anybody want to pull anything? No. Hearing none. Okay. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Romney Rice.
Sorry, I had to mute. Yes on everything with an abstention on the bills list.
Councilman Begon.
Yes.
Councilwoman Organ.
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes on all.
Deputy Mayor Katz.
Yes, with an abstention on the bills list.
And Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes.
The aforementioned has moved forward.
Okay. Now we have the introduction of ordinances.
Yes, we do, Mayor. This evening, we are considering for first reading, Ordinance number 2-2021, ordinance number 2-2021, ordinance amending section 33-23, rules of general application of Article 5, zoning of Chapter 33, development regulations of the Code of the Township of Teaneck pertaining stairs and landings within the side and rear yard setback areas. Ordinance number 5-2021, amending Chapter 33, development regulations of the Code of the Township of Teaneck relating to drive-through facilities. Ordinance number 6-2021, amending and updating Appendix 3, fees and charges for township services of Chapter 2 of the Township Code entitled Charter Administrative Code, as amended by Ordinance 1-2018 and Article 3 of Chapter 6 of the Code of the Township of Teaneck respecting dog licenses. And last but not least, Ordinance number 7-2021, adding Article XXIV privacy to Chapter 2 of the Township Code entitled Charter Administrative Code.
Ordinance numbers 2, 5, 6, and 7, 2021 have been introduced. Do we have any discussion, question briefly?
I'll move their introduction.
I'll second the motion.
Okay,
Second Schwartz.
all right. Don't hear anything else, then let's call the roll.
Councilwoman Romney Rice,
Yes.
Councilman Began,
Yes.
Councilwoman Organ,
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes on all.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes.
and Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes,
All are introduced, and we will see them in a couple weeks at the February 23rd meeting.
very good. I have nothing else on our
I'll
agenda.
make a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's what I thought. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for coming to the meeting. We'll see you soon.
Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Aye.
Hey.
Good night.
Good night and happy Tuesday, people of Teaneck. We will